Morning, Libra, and two magpie people. I just saw two magpies on my way down here. The sun is about to come over those hills. Let's do your reading. I'll show you it when it pops over. So, how are you feeling on the inside? Libra, two magpie people. How are you feeling internally? Like the Six of Wands. Pretty good. I love that. It came out, it popped out just as I was pre-shuffling and meditating on your energy. So you feel pretty good about yourself. And how does that make you act on the outside? Wow, a whole bunch of cards. What have we got here? The Nine of Wands being a bit defended. The Knight of Wands being a bit steady. The Five of Swords feeling that you've got to have a fight. And the Four of Cups not wanting to take an offer. Maybe you're not used to feeling this good. Oh, interesting. We'll have to dive into that in a minute. And at the basis of the reading, come on, son, I need to warm up a bit. Working hard on the Ace of Pentacles, lovely. How you keep going, how you keep your enthusiasm going for that harvest. And something from the recent past. Well, that's literally half the pack. But there were two cards that landed separately. The Seven of Swords and the Seven of Wands. So that's from the recent past. It's a lot of sort of funny, difficult energy. And where it might be leading, a potential outcome, the World and the Six of Cups. Beautiful, beautiful. And something coming up in the near future. Any minute now. Listen to the birds starting to get louder. Oh, yeah, that's a bit too many as well. Like 10 cards now. Something coming up for you in the near future, Libra, and two magpie people. There we go. What's that one? The Four of Pentacles. And your attitude. What's the attitude of the collective here, of Libra and the people who related to the symbol of the two magpies? Gosh, what a lot of energy. The Judgment, the Four of Wands. They fell one after the other. The Knight of Wands, lovely energy. The King of Wands and the Strength. You guys are really bringing your A game. How interesting. And your environment, two cards. The King, the Emperor and the Six of Pentacles. Like that as well. And what are your hopes and dreams? Your hopes or hopes and fears? One or other or both. Oh, there it comes. The Justice card and the Seven of Cups. I've just got to do this. There it comes. Another new day. I love it. Right. So that's the Justice for your hopes and fears. Oh God, it's so. Sorry, I never tire of this. And where is it all leading? Oh, the Page of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords. Interesting. We're going to cap that to see where we're going with this. Just have one little look at the sun. Wonderful. Right. So there's tons more cards than the normal 10, so I'm not going to count the majors in terms of a percentage. It's sort of probably about average, I would say. And in terms of the suits, it's a bit of a mess of pentacles. There's quite a lot of pentacles. It's about making money, I think. How do you make money? Yeah, that seems to be... How do you make money in a satisfying way? How do you keep hold of your money? Yeah, it does seem to be about cash. Look at that. Look at the lovely beam of light. How can I put my hand in it? Oh. Yeah, I'll take all of that, son. Oh, it's weird doing it the wrong way around. Isn't that lovely? Anyway, sorry, you're not here to watch me do that. Okay. So how are you feeling on the inside? As I said, the Six of Wands, you're feeling pretty pleased with yourself. You've achieved something recently and you're starting to appreciate yourself. It's like all your inner parts are saying, oh, well done. I mean, maybe because you've been through quite a tricky time and you've succeeded in, sorry, just can't help doing this. Imagine all that energy going into you. Imagine receiving that with me just for a moment. That beautiful light of the sun. So you're appreciating yourself. You're understanding your merits. It's internal, so strangely, it's you appreciating yourself rather than the others. But that's a lovely thing to see. How that makes you act on the outside is almost, like I said, like you're not quite used to being appreciated, as if you're a bit frightened. I don't know. You might have come from one of those families where, when something good happens to you, you might have had somebody in the family who wasn't entirely supportive. That's such a strange thing to say. But it happens, doesn't it? A jealous sibling, a jealous parent, maybe school friends who weren't so supportive. Or somehow it's like you've got rewired and you've thought, oh, things are good. Now I have to feel a bit defensive because I'm seeing myself in a different light, not in a depressing light, not failing. Let's just take some of that. Come on, grab some of that. And that makes you feel defensive because we've got the Nine of Wands, which is the wounded healer. We've got the Knight of Pentacles. So you're defending this. Maybe it's this. You're defending this new status that you're feeling internally. And you're going to try and bring it down into some sort of routine within you. Like with the Knight of Pentacles, he's so steady. It's like you want to root it. You want to defend this, but you are feeling a bit defensive, not just, cleverly defending your right. It's more like, that's why I was wondering whether you've been in a family or in a group of people that don't always celebrate your successes, or somehow you're frightened of feeling that you're getting somewhere. But nevertheless, you're trying to root it down, and you're prepared to have, well, it's interesting, you're prepared to have an uncomfortable fight. You're having an uncomfortable fight with maybe these spectres of these people that don't support you moving forward in this way. But still, do you take this? Do you take this new path with the Four of Cups? You've got a host of uncomfortable feelings around success, is what I want to say. Part of you wants to grab it, but you feel worried. You feel that it's going to start a fight, that no one's going to win, that you might be successful, but somehow it will feel horrible because you won't be supported in it. And therefore, do you really want to take this? Interesting. But at the root of the reading, we've got this, come on. You've got this really beautiful new start in the Ace of Pentacles, a lucrative new start. So it can be health, it can be money, it can be babies, but it's something you need to tend. It's going to actually have a physical outcome at the end. It's not just an idea. There will be something tangible in this world from this idea. And at the root of it, we're talking about, how do you keep working on that? How do you keep going when the harvest isn't quite there, but it's on its way? So great. That's a really good place to be. And in the recent past, 2 sevens, so that's super interesting as well. The sevens of keeping on a higher ground. Look at him, he's got the wrong shoes on, he's grabbed them, he's sort of unprepared, but he's nonetheless beating whatever these problems are. But also the Seven of Swords, giving your power away. So what I want to say is, in the recent past, you've started to learn how not to give your power away. Hear that, Libra? 2 magpie people. You are starting, even if it feels uncomfortable, to fight for your own rights, to look at the details, to not be disempowered, to not let other people steal your thunder. And a potential outcome is the world and the Six of Cups. What comes to me is being back in the centre of your world, the way you were when you were the child, not in an egotistical way, but just all's right with the world. feeling like you do when you first incarnate, that kind of fresh feeling of I'm where I'm meant to be, and I sort of got a good sense of my mission. So that's really beautiful. I want to say more about that. It's going to come up more, I'm sure. And in the near future, another 4. So we've got another one of these no 4s. So we've got you not taking the cup in your external world because you're a bit frightened of what the success means. And now in the near future, sort of holding on for dear life with the 4 of Pentacles. I mean, he's secure, but he's stuck. It's a very solid energy of holding this pentacle above your heart, in front of your heart, trying to sort of keep everything just so. Look, if you're holding on to the idea of being successful and not letting it go and not sort of depleting your energy, sort of holding on to what you really want, because you'll be successful when you're most authentically you, then that's good. But let's have a look. In your attitude, this lovely bevy of cards, look at that. An epiphany. You've suddenly realised what it is that you want and how you're going to manifest and what success looks like for you. And the 4 of Wands, wanting to celebrate that, wanting to put down roots and have a party, a wedding, marry yourself to this idea. It's leaving you with so much energy, this libidinous Knight of Wands running around, energetic, full of passion and creativity. Oh, just a little bit of that. And then the King of Swords, feeling quite strategic and CEO-like as you wrestle with your demons, as you bring all your strengths, as you bring your female magician. It's a really potent attitude. We've got passion, we've got logic, we've got celebration and partnership with the 4 of Wands. We've got an epiphany with the Judgment card, and then we've got the strength, lending a sort of grit to this, but also pulling out the bits that we've been frightened of and gently wrestling them into some sort of submission. I love that. And in your environment, the 6 of Pentacles and the 4, another 4 here, and major 4 of the Emperor. So it shows me that you are actually, I feel like you've sort of set something up, either with your at home is very good, you have a very good stable system. It's sort of like you either have a very strong male figure, like a father figure, or a strong partner who gives you quite a lot of structure, or you've internalized, or your female partner who has those qualities, a partner who has that kind of quality of structure and fairness, or you are creating that kind of setup. That's the first thing that popped into my mind. You're creating sort of the discipline and the structure around a sort of idea of reciprocity, of everyone being paid fairly, of everyone being able to be looked after fairly. So the energy is of the merchant giving to these people who are not so wealthy, but he is also keeping enough back in his pocket. He's got this stripy pyjama set on, if anyone's got stripy pyjamas, and like a Levi's tag on this guy, that red and white right at the bottom. What's that about? I've not been looking at details that pop out. Let's see, we'll carry on with the glasses now. And in your hopes and fears, you want justice. This is your card. You want to make the right, just choice. You do not want to be left in the 7 of Cups. If you're anything like me, you don't like that, where everything is up in the air but you don't pick. You want to make a just choice. You want to know what you're doing for the best of all, for you and everyone else. And anything that stands out there, the little hieroglyphic sort of pattern, or the leaves along those 2 green stripes that go from the top of her cape down over her knees. Like a sort of road of leaves is what I want to say. Interesting. And then the dragon is standing out to me in the cups. And where it's all going is a little bit of self-victimization, but you're learning to move away from that. Why are you still being negative? Why are you still is your voice still one of self-victimization? I don't know what's going on here. What's going on here? Let's get into this. but you are learning. It's like there are two sides to you. One is, oh God, I'm stuck, this stuck energy that we see. And the other is, but I want to learn this. I've got this new idea for something that's going to bring me wealth. Let me look at, so with the stuck energy coming up nearby, I can see a little bridge in the background and a flag and his little red shoes. And then in your attitude, I just want to see if anything pops out when the glasses are on. The oak tree leaves on the top of the forelock of the horse. Yeah, that's it at the moment. What we're going to do is pull a card, whoa, from the Enchanted Forest Tarot, which I've just thrown everywhere, but it stayed on the bench, so that's good. To clarify this somewhat, let's see. What do you think of these green glasses? They're not my magnifying ones, which I'm going to get out in a minute because they make everything kind of trippily large. Okay, let's check I've got all of the cards. Yep. Okay, so anything that would like to be added to this reading as the sun really fully starts to warm me, which is lovely. Lovely. This is another emperor. So this is what you need to rely on. You're being pulled to look at your environment, this structure that you've been creating. And this one is called the Forest Lord. And he has got those leaves. Do you remember I said the leaves on the top of the forelock of the horse? He's got them around his knees like knee pads and on his antlers. But where else did we see leaves? We saw those also on the justices, the bits that were like a sort of the two leaves. So leaves, that's important. Let's have a look. I love him. He's got a wild boar next to him. I saw a wild boar for the first time properly up close the other day. I mean, I've obviously seen them at distance here before, but I disturbed one and it was utterly thrilling. And I'm very grateful that they finally showed themselves to me. So, at a glance, power from within, virility, natural leadership, nobility of character, fatherhood, dominion, and territorial command. The holly and oak upon his antlers represent the eternal cycle of life renewing itself. Oak rules the light half of the year, holly rules the dark. So I noticed the oak on the top of the head of the horse for the Knight of Pentacles. So it's something to do with moving into a new season. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, there will be a sense of the oak time coming, but just a shift of season is bringing something good. What's he got round his neck? I don't know what that is. Can you see? That is taking a really good look at him. Bare feet. Lovely. Wild boar. All who pass through the enchanted forest must pay homage to the forest lord, for everything that lives and breathes is under his dominion, from the mightiest giant to the smallest shrew. He is the essence of wild male energy kept under control most of the time. He is the virile rush of the stag, the immovable stance of the bear. His most trusted companion, the chieftain of all the boars, the fiercest creature in the wood. Approach the forest lord respectfully, but have no fear. He is the affectionate father as well as the commanding ruler. He is masterful but never a bully. He has earned the love and loyalty of those within his care. The forest lord represents the duties that come with great power, protecting his subjects, defending their freedom and safeguarding their sanctuary. Leadership is a privilege. Authority over others must be wielded appropriately and not abused. Sovereignty comes from within and doesn't need to be insisted upon. The forest lord's confidence comes from staying true to his noble nature. So that's really interesting because lots of people don't like the emperor. I love the emperor. And this is the kind of positive side of the emperor, because sometimes people say, oh, he's domineering and bullying and can squash you and restrictive and what have you. And this is, no, he is all the lovely sides of the emperor in your environment, which is helping you be fairly paid and fairly give. He is the amazingly soft custodian, but strong, soft and strong. So what you need to do is concentrate, I think, because that's pulling us in that direction, on what structures and resources within yourself and within your environment, and that you can implement, that give you these strong, powerful boundaries that will make you feel less frightened about being seen, less frightened about taking your place in the world in that original Six of Wands. If you feel you've got this guy at your back, then you're fine, okay? So it's about trying to internalize that. You know, they say people who have very strong fathers often go on to be very successful. It's as if you've been given the okay by that figure. Oh, that's strange. He's on his own. Oh no, it's fine. He just fell off that part. Right, so I'm now going to see what the Shining Tribe deck has to say. Shining Tribe Tarot deck from Rachel Pollock. 2 cards. Let's see which bits they would like us to concentrate on. The 4 of Rivers. These are very abstract. They're beautiful. And the 3 of Rivers. They're very shuffled, these cards. That's interesting. 4 and 3 of Rivers. A progression. Let's see. I'm not going to read all of it. I will try and keep it quite quick. 4 and 3 of Rivers. So let's start with 3. These are cups, I think. Yeah. Harmony, friendship, love, both romantic and spiritual. People who have in some way joined their lifeblood. Very deep bonds between people. Recognition of mystery in ordinary experience. This card represents any situation in which people share deep emotion and act in harmony. It recalls ancient cultural practice of sharing blood to acknowledge deep bonds of people. If this card appears in a reading to lovers or 2 people in any close relationship, family members, friends, co-workers, then 2 outer streams signify the 2 people and the middle stream is the presence of the third, the divine energy they've created together. Many times I've seen this card appear in readings done to help prepare for ritual. It calls forth the ritual's inner beauty and power. Do you need to do a ritual, or do you need to join with someone? Yes, this is what you need to do. You need to do a ritual that joins you and the energy of the Emperor. I love that. I'm going to take that for myself. You need to do a ritual that joins you and the Emperor of the energy, and then that stream that comes, that third stream, will be the energy that is between you, and you will feel protected enough to step up into your power. And so it's all about the female body, about bleeding, the goddess. Triple goddess is represented, but I think that's what I was supposed to see there. And then there's a labyrinth at the top that it represents moving into spiritual energy, that at the top. And Persephone returning each, on the right we see a pomegranate whose red juices symbolise the lifeblood of menstruation and birth. Persephone returns each year to the underworld because she ate 2 pomegranate seeds during her time there. At the top we find a labyrinth, an image of the path inwards to spiritual knowledge. But what I want to say about that is that Persephone's myth is about the turn of the year again, isn't it? So there's a sense of using this turn in the seasons, whichever hemisphere you're in, to sort of harness. There's a lot of power at these moments to harness some sort of change. And I think what we're meant to take from this 3 of Rivers is the idea of doing a ritual between you and the Emperor. And what does that create? What's that third stream? So you see those 3 streams there. That's what we're talking about. Imagine you on one side, the Emperor on the other. And what would your third stream be that takes you to somewhere more powerful? And then the 4 of Rivers. What would that ritual be? Call him in. Candles. Something. It's almost like that stream, isn't it, that I was trying to touch there again. That stream of light, imagining maybe you could do something in the dawn like this and imagine the sun as an emperor type energy that you're joining together with. Anyway, you'll be creative about it. If I have any other thoughts, I'll put it in the comments. And then the 4 of Rivers, new beginnings and commitment. casting off old limitations, admitting past mistakes, the ability to handle difficult situations with balance and peace. Now, I think this is the Four of Cups that we had in your attitude. The rivers are cups, aren't they? Let me just triple check. So the Five of Cups, yes, they are. So we're taking a transformed look at that feeling of not wanting to accept the cup. The Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, begins a 10-day period of repentance leading to Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. To mark a new beginning, people cast crumbs of stale bread into a moving stream or river. This card comes from a memory of mine that this ancient ceremony called Tashlish once had a different version in which people symbolically cast off an old garment to reveal new clothes underneath. Okay, here we go. This might be your ritual. Can you find a ritual that involves symbolically finding an old piece of clothing and working that into your ritual where you cast it off in order to sort of enter this new partnership with the Emperor? I love this. And the ragged robe floating in the water, there it is, represents a way of life or a relationship to others in the world that no longer means anything. And look, stripy, sorry, while I remember. Do you see his stripy coat? Who else had that? Oh, I love this. The guy that was with the Emperor, the merchant in the Six of Pentacles, he's got his stripy tunic. We're talking about the Emperor allowing you to enter that sort of reciprocity phase. I love it. Sorry. The ragged rope floating in the water represents a way of life, a relationship to others or the world that no longer means anything but which we cling to like old, comfortable clothes. The time has come to give it up. The person does not symbolically discard one pattern for another. In the picture, does not simply discard one pattern for the other. In the picture, he wears a tallit, symbolising that atonement means entering a life of greater meaning. Jews put on a tallit each day in the morning prayers. In Orthodox tradition, only men wear the tallit. Among Reform and Reconstructionist congregations, women often wear the tallit as well. The fringe of the shawl, so the tallit symbolising atonement, entering a life of greater meaning. That's what you're trying to do here. The fringe of the shawl, tied with ritual knots, binds the Jewish person to commandments and the revelation of the Torah or law. Jewish mystical tradition teaches that when God began creation, he wrapped herself or himself in a tallit of divine life. Herself, it says here. So when God began the creation, he wrapped herself in a tallit of divine light. The gender-neutral pronouns do not reflect political correctness. They come from the ancient Jewish teaching that the one God is hermaphroditic. Why can't I say that word? You know what I mean. Both male and female. Okay, fantastic. Look at that. That reminds me of something. Anyway, we see a river from each of the four suits. At one month means harmonising all different elements. For trees, we see falling leaves. Okay, there they are in the background. Rosh Hashanah takes place at the beginning of autumn. The suit of birds appears at the top of the card where golden light flows. Golden light, like we've got there, still in the shot. Just grab a bit more. I have to. Yeah. The suit of birds appears at the top of the card where golden light from a shofar, the ram's horn blown at New Year. Beautiful. A bird of peace flies across the light. For stones, where's the bird of peace? Oh, I see. It's in that red. Okay, that's funny. That's what I was... Is that it? Yeah, that's it. For stones, we see two rocks at the bottom struck together to create a spark. Those two there, with the big red coming out of them. And according to Jewish legend, Adam became frightened when the sun set on his first day in Eden. God told him to strike together two rocks, shadow and night, for the first fire. The crossed roots at the bottom right form the letter Aleph, a silent letter that begins both the Hebrew alphabet and the Ten Commandments. That's right at the left. In the Kabbalistic tarot, the Fool is Aleph. On Rosh Hashanah in 1991, I went to the Hudson River for my own Talish ceremony and found crossed roots in the shape of this shape at the edge of the water. From a reading several years ago, this card and the man in the picture have taken on specific meaning. The reading was for a person, not for a person, but a story. In recent years, I've sought to expand the use of tarot by reading cards for a commentary on myth or spiritual teaching. One of the bases of Jewish mysticism is a very short tale, usually called The Four Rabbis Who Entered Paradise. It tells of four great teachers from nearly 2,000 years ago, in particular Rabbi Akiva ben Joseph, one of the founders of Rabbinic Judaism. Through secret meditations, the rabbis achieve a vision of the heavenly paradise. Three of the rabbis cannot balance their extreme experience. One looks into fire and dies. A second loses his mind after mistaking the divine light for great waves of water. A third intellectually misunderstands what he sees and becomes an enemy of his people. Only Rabbi Akiva, we are told, enters and leaves in peace. As part of this reading, I chose a card for each rabbi. The one for Akiva, the fourth rabbi, was the Four of Trees. This card therefore becomes the image of Akiva in paradise, but this is the Four of Rivers. He's cast off his old self and freed his true being so that now he can move peacefully through the glorious wonders of the spiritual world. Yeah, truly understanding. So rather than misunderstanding the emperor as something that restricts and binds, it's taking that power, that glorious, incredibly potent power of the emperor, and truly understanding it and not letting it destroy you. Doing a ritual, casting off some part of you, some old clothing in the Three of Rivers in order to don this new robe which allows you to ally to this stripy robe that allows you to ally to the emperor. Absolutely wonderful. What an exciting time for you, Libra. Embrace that emperor, because he's going to allow you to have success. You're going to feel protected. You need that level of here we have the Ten of Swords. I'm asking for a comment. Yeah, the old world is dead. Could you comment in these little teeny tiny on anything else you want us to look at? The Hierophant, getting everything all right. Yeah, get everything in its right place in order to be able to manifest the hopes and dreams of the star, the healing of the star, the vulnerability of the star. You see, the star can be very vulnerable and without clothes. And again, she's casting into the water, like in that last card that we looked at. But she can be like that because she's healed. She's healed from the tower. And he's got the red cloak, which is very reminiscent of the emperor. So it's the idea of becoming aligned to something very large that allows you to be very vulnerable and therefore the star, not just in your healing, but to be seen in your nudity as your true self, as your most successful self. Any other words from the teeny tiny tarot? Yeah, we've got the Nine of Pentacles on the floor. Who's coming after the tower? Yeah, it's mentioning the tower. It's saying the tower that comes before the star. We now need you in this resplendent sense. There's been an ending, we can see that with the 10. We need you in this resplendent sense of the Nine of Pentacles. And how do these people unbind from the Eight of Swords that we see at the end? Yeah, it's just because that came with the Eight of Swords. I love that. It's just saying that's what this meant as an end. You're learning how to unbind yourself from your own victimization. Perhaps all this idea that people don't like you being successful or is all in your own head. You're learning with great diligence to unbind, and that will bring you this abundance. And what is this new start? A new divine choice being grabbed, a new divine partnership overseen by this beautiful angel. That's the idea again of those two streams coming together, you and the Emperor energy. What is going to be the third stream? What will that mountain be like in between you? If you think of the mountain there, what will that represent? What are you going to aspire to? So I'm going to let you answer that question. How amazing. What a really interesting, dense reading. So make peace with the Emperor. I see good things coming. See you soon.